You scroll past 10 good things to stop on the one bad thing. Marcus is lying and scrolling before sleep. He sees a friend's vacation photos, someone's promotion announcement, a funny video, a cute dog, all perfectly nice things. And then he sees it, a negative comment on something he posted 2 days ago. Just one comment, barely even harsh. But suddenly that's all he can think about. The good stuff disappears. He's reading and rereading those 3 sentences. His heart rate picks up. Sleep is now impossible, and he wonders why this one small negative thing has completely hijacked his brain. Here's what's happening. Your brain is wired to pay more attention to negative information than positive information. It's not a bug. It's a feature, a survival mechanism that's been running for thousands of years. And it's still running now, even though the threats have changed. Think of your brain like a security system. Its main job isn't to make you happy, it's to keep you alive. And to keep you alive, it needs to notice danger. A rustling in the bushes, a strange sound, a person who seems off, anything that potentially hurt you. If your ancestors ignored those signals, they didn't survive long enough to pass on their genes. But the ones who were hypervigilant, who noticed every possible threat, they made it, and you're descended from them. So your brain inherited this tendency to scan for problems, to focus on what's wrong rather than what's right. Because what's right doesn't need your attention. What's right is safe. But what's wrong could be dangerous, and dangerous to be dealt with immediately. This is why one criticism can wipe out 10 compliments. Why one scary headline grabs your attention more than 5 positive stories. Why you remember the awkward moment from a party but forget all the good conversations. Your brain is doing what it was designed to do. Prioritizing the negative, because the negative is where the threat lives. And bad news triggers that system hard. It lights up all the alarm centers, even if the bad news doesn't directly affect you. Even if it's something happening on the other side of the world to people you'll never meet. Your brain still reacts like it's a personal threat, like it needs to know, needs to prepare. So you keep scrolling, you keep reading, you keep clicking on the updates, not because you want to feel bad, but because your brain is convinced that staying informed about danger is keeping you safe. That knowing what could go wrong will help you avoid it. That staying vigilant is the responsible thing to do. But here's the problem. Modern bad news isn't like ancient danger. A lion in the grass is a clear, immediate threat. You can fight it or run from it. The threat is specific. The response is obvious. Bad news today. It's ongoing. It's often about things you have no control over. And your brain doesn't know what to do with that. So it just keeps you in a state of activation. Stress hormones flowing, muscles tense, mind racing, all up for danger with nowhere to go. You can't fight the news. You can't run from it. You can only absorb it and feel increasingly helpless and overwhelmed. And the more you consume, the more your brain thinks the world is dangerous, because it's getting a constant stream of evidence. Every disaster, every conflict, every tragedy, all filtered directly into your awareness. Your brain starts to believe that bad things are happening constantly, that the world is falling apart, that danger is everywhere. That's not actually true. Bad things are happening. They always have been. Good things are happening too, probably more good things than bad things. But good things don't make the news. They don't trigger your alarm system, so your brain barely registers them. They're just background noise, while the bad news is a siren. This creates a distorted picture of reality, where everything seems worse than it actually is. Where you feel like you're constantly under threat even though you're probably sitting somewhere safe. Your brain is reacting to information about danger, not actual danger. But it doesn't know the difference. Threat is threat, whether it's in front of you or on a screen halfway around the world. There's also something about bad news that feels important, urgent, like if you don't pay attention, you're being irresponsible. Like staying informed is a moral duty, and maybe it is to some extent. But there's a difference between being informed and being consumed, between knowing what's happening and drowning in it. And most people have crossed that line without realizing it. They're not just staying informed, they're checking constantly. Refreshing feeds, reading every update, watching every video, because their brain is hooked on the feeling, the intensity, the sense that something big is happening and they need to be part of it. Even if being part of it just means feeling terrible. Your brain also loves bad news because it confirms your worries. If you're anxious about something and then you see news that validates that anxiety, it feels almost satisfying. Like, I was right to be worried. And that validation, as uncomfortable as it is, creates a weird sense of relief. Your fear wasn't irrational, it was justified, but that just strengthens the pattern. Your worrying is useful. That scanning for bad news keeps you prepared, so it does it more. And the cycle continues. More worry, more bad news, more confirmation, more worry. And it's not just the news itself. It's the comment sections, the arguments, the outrage, people fighting about what it means. Who's to blame? What should happen next? And your brain gets pulled into that too. Because conflict is another thing that registers as threat. Even if you're not directly involved, even if you're just reading it, your nervous system is activated, your heart rate increases, and you feel like you need to do something. Say something. Pick a side. But engaging usually just makes you feel worse, because you're not solving anything. You're just adding your own stress to an already stressful situation. And then you're thinking about it for hours, replaying what you said, what they said, what you should have said, and the bad news that started it all just burrows. There's also this thing where bad news makes you feel connected, like you're part of something. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's reacting. And if you're not paying attention, you feel left out of the loop. So you keep checking, not because you want to, but because you don't want to be the person who doesn't know, who isn't aware, who seems disconnected from what's happening in the world. But that connection comes at a cost. You're connecting over shared fear, shared outrage, shared helplessness. And that kind of connection doesn't actually make you feel better. It just spreads the negativity, makes it bigger, turns one person's stress into collective stress, and your brain absorbs all of it, not just what you read, but what everyone else is feeling about what you read. The comments, the reactions, all of that emotional intensity gets layered of the original bad news until you're carrying this massive weight that wasn't even yours to begin with. So what do you do? How do you exist in a full of bad news without letting it completely take over your brain? You recognize what your brain is doing. You notice when you're being pulled toward the negative, when you're scrolling past good things to find bad things, when you're spending more time reading about problems than experiencing your own life. And you make a choice not to ignore reality, not to stick head in the sand, but to stop feeding the system that's making you miserable. You set boundaries. You limit how much bad news you consume. Not because you don't care, but because caring doesn't require constant exposure. You can care about the world and still protect your peace. You can stay informed without being consumed. You can acknowledge that bad things are happening without marinating in them for hours every day. And you actively look for the good, not because toxic positivity is the answer. Because your brain needs balance. It needs to know that the world isn't just danger and disaster. That good things are happening too. That people are kind. That beauty exists. That life continues even in the middle of hard things. Your brain will always lean toward the negative. That's just how it's built. But you don't have to let it run the show. You can notice the pull without following it. You can feel the alarm without believing everything it tells you. You can acknowledge that bad things are real, while also remembering that they're not the whole story. The bad news will always be there, always available, always one click away. But so is everything else. The quiet moments, the small joys, the ordinary goodness that doesn't make headlines but makes up most of life. Your brain might naturally gravitate toward those things. But you can choose to. You can decide what gets your attention, what gets your energy, what gets to shape how you see the world. Because the world your brain shows you isn't the real world, it's a filtered version, shaped by ancient wiring that's trying to keep you safe. And you can thank your brain for trying, and then you can gently redirect it towards something truer, something more whole, something that includes both the hard and the good. Not one or the other. Both. Always both.